Watch this video for 7 tips
on how to achieve your New Year's goals. Number 1, having a strong why. Now, why do I say that? Because if you don't have a strong enough why behind what you're doing, you tend to fizzle out and not be as committed to achieving or doing the thing that you've set out to do. So, by having a strong enough why that carries a lot of emotion behind it, a lot of meaning behind it, then it gives us more motivation and energy to be able to push through and actually accomplish what we're trying to achieve. You know, you will have times when you're doing your New Year's resolution and you've set these new goals, we all do them, and they tend to come to a point where they just stop or they seem too difficult and we give up. So by having a strong emotional why behind this, then what tends to happen is when you have them lows and them dips, which they will come, it ends up giving us that little bit of a boost and a kick up the arse, which is what we need to end up persisting and carrying on. Number 2, self-talk.
Yeah, self-talk is so important. So if you can observe yourself throughout the day as you're going about your day-to-day tasks, really observe what it is exactly that you're telling yourself. And if you can observe that, you'll begin to see patterns. You'll see patterns of how what it is you're saying to yourself makes you feel in certain ways and makes you take or not take certain actions. So if you have a particular goal that you're not doing, you need to really pay attention to how you're talking to yourself about it. So for example, if your goal is that you want to go to the gym more often, but you find that you're not doing it, just really observe what it is exactly that you're saying. So are you saying, I need to go to the gym? I must go to the gym? If you're using words like that, you'll see it's very constrictive. It's like you're being told to do something that you don't really want to do, so it's taking your power away from yourself. So if you can change the language that you're using, something like, I'm choosing to go to the gym because, and then connect that with the big why of why you're actually doing it, and you'll find that it'll become a lot easier to begin to be able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
Number 3, readjusting your plan. You see, most of us, we set our goals, we set our New Year's resolution, and we stick to that. We think it is rigid and that there is no room for movement. So when we go along and we set out the plan and we try to achieve it and we hit a hurdle, we hit maybe 2 hurdles, 3 hurdles, who knows, but we hit something and we think that it does not work. So we give up. What you need to realize, and this goes with many things in life, you know, any goals you set in life, that you have to understand that it's okay to fail. It's okay to hit hurdles and to get it wrong. And that is all part of growth. In fact, I'd go as far as saying that without failure, you will not grow. That it is part of it. It's part of learning what to do, what not to do, what you like, what you don't like. It's all about experience. So when you come and you set your plan out, if it isn't going well, if it isn't working for you, then readjust it. It's okay to switch it around, change it, maneuver it, see what works until you refine it to the point of where it works for you. And just because something works for someone else, it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily work for you, for your time, for your effort, for your circumstances and resources. So you really want to take that in consideration, that all plans are there to be adjusted, all goals are there to be readjusted and refined. So do not feel stuck, do not feel that this is the only way because this is how you've set it out to do, or that you've seen someone else recommend that that is the way to do it or is a good way to achieve a goal and it just hasn't worked for you. It's okay. Take a step back, breathe and readjust. And you'll find that by doing this, through any goals you set in life, you will start to become and have a certain mindset of where you can readjust any goal to suit you. So it works best for you and your own environment, resources, time, and effort. So readjust. Number 4, making it attainable.
Yeah, again, a really important one, because we can have these massive goals and sometimes they can really excite us because they're so big and you can imagine, you know, achieving it. But sometimes they're a bit too big to the fact where they overwhelm us. So we might start off all excited and motivated and we plan to do the thing every single day for a certain amount of time, and then we do it for the first day, the second day, and then the third day, we decide we can't really be bothered, and then maybe we do it the fourth day and the fifth day, you kind of fall off of it, and we end up not achieving the thing that we set out to achieve simply because we've overwhelmed ourselves. So we need to bear in mind that if we've been living a certain way for a certain period of time, and now we're suddenly wanting to change the behaviour quite suddenly and dramatically, that's not an easy thing to do. So we need to be kind to ourselves and break these goals down into smaller tasks. A simple example, maybe you want to meditate every day. Maybe the goal is you want to meditate every day for 1 hour. You wouldn't start out meditating every day for 1 hour. It's probably too much for most people to make such a big jump to doing that. So what you do is you just say, okay, what is something that I can definitely achieve every single day? Well, maybe I can definitely achieve a 2-minute meditation every day or a 5-minute meditation every day. And you start there and then you build up to the thing that you want to achieve. So also, maybe you've got a bigger goal. For example, maybe you want to start a business, or you want to do something that's going to take a certain amount of time. So you'd set this as your long-term goal, but then you break it down into short-term goals. And a good way of doing that is by treating it by per quarter. So every 3 months you have a goal to achieve, and then you can break it down by a month, by week, by day, and this way you can take the slow steps and do the process so you know you're going to achieve the final outcome.
Number 5, positive accountability. Now, we all have that person in our life that we end up sharing our New Year's resolution to, a new goal, a new idea we have, and they say, you can't do it. All right? We all have them. We've all had them in our life. We've all been there. But these people we need to get out of our life. Or not necessarily out of our life completely. It's your choice, but don't share your goals with them. Because what you need is you need positive accountability. You need people in your life that when you share your goals to them, when you share your ideas to them, that they bring you up, they encourage you, they motivate you, and most of all, they hold you accountable. So next time you bump into them or you go to see them, you know they're probably going to ask how you're getting on. So it encourages you to make sure that you're actually putting effort in and moving forward, because you don't want to go there and end up saying, well, you know what? I gave up. Again, I dropped another goal. It just wasn't for me. So positive accountability is so powerful, and it's always good to just have that somebody in your corner cheering you on. It helps motivate you, it makes you feel better, it helps you feel like you have more direction, and overall it is a positive thing to have around you. I encourage anybody to have more encouraging and positive people around them, a tribe of positive energy, because you'll find that most successful, if not all successful people, have some form of positive encouragement around them, because it's what needed, and they surround themselves around people with the same kind of thinking, mindset and energy. Number 6, journaling.
Yeah, another thing that's really important. So often we have so many different things in our heads and so many things that we want to achieve. So if we can just begin to work through and write these things down, so we can begin to prioritize exactly what we want to do. Because sometimes we can overwhelm ourselves. And the other thing to this is that it then clears our minds. It declutters our minds so we can actually think straight. Journaling is also really good because we can write down and reflect upon what's worked for us and what's not worked, and then we can make new plans and new ways to achieve the thing that we're trying to achieve. And the other thing with journaling is that we can also then record exactly how far we've come, because it's very easy to kind of get lost and to forget all the things that you've actually achieved. Whereas if you look back on yourself a year or 2 years ago, you'll often find that you're a very different person now, that you've grown. You've grown maybe spiritually, your self-growth, you've got a different mindset. All these things that you've achieved, it's very easy to write off and not to realise, and then to beat yourself up because maybe you've not achieved other things you wanted to achieve. But this helps us to recognise it's all a journey, and we're constantly evolving and becoming the best versions of ourselves.
Number 7, celebrating wins and making it fun. You see, going through and setting your goals, setting your New Year's resolution, it can be difficult at times, and you're going to come across times when you're going to fail, you're going to hit brick walls, you're going to struggle, and it's going to be hard work. So you've got to make it fun. Not only that, the process of always focusing on the outcome, we forget that it's always about the journey. That you're going to have plenty of goals throughout your life, lots of outcomes that you're going to want to reach, but that never ends. Once you reach one goal, you move to the next, and when you reach that one, you move to the next, and it's a never-ending cycle. So you better get used to enjoying the journey, because we're going to be on it for a long time. And to help with that process, by changing our perception of how we view our goals, rather than focusing always on what we haven't done, what we've got to do, where we're heading, focus on what you've achieved already. Celebrate the small wins, no matter how small they are, it doesn't matter. Focus on them small wins. Focus on the journey leading up to achieving that, because in that process, you will end up making yourself change your whole perception and your viewpoint on life, on your goals. And by rather than focusing on always the lack of or what you haven't achieved yet, you will start to focus on what you have. And just by doing that, it will increase your motivation. You will feel like you're moving forward. You will feel like you're succeeding and that your goal is attainable. Because now you're seeing all the wins rather than the losses. You're seeing all of the ups rather than the downs. Not that they don't occur, but it's a better point of focus, you know? And you've got to make it fun. I'm not saying that sometimes our goals, they're going to be difficult, that we're going to have to push through barriers, we're going to have to struggle sometimes, but make them fun, enjoy them, make it part of your daily life. Because if you don't do this, why are you going to want to continue doing something that you're not enjoying? So make them fun and be consistent.
The last thing I wanted to say is that if you feel like you're not achieving them, if you're hitting roadblocks and stumbling, just ask for help. Because very often what happens is that we get stuck, we might even give up, and then we beat ourselves up and we think, oh, I can never achieve this thing, I don't have willpower, I don't have commitment, I can't be consistent, and we start to feel bad about ourselves. But really, all that it is, it's a mindset thing. Very often, we're so stuck in our own kind of narrow views of ourselves that we can't kind of see past that. Sometimes what we need is we just need somebody else to give us a different perspective, to shift our mindset slightly, to show us that there's maybe a different path to take, or that there's a certain belief that we're living by that's not helping us. So don't get caught in the trap of thinking that you're a failure if you don't achieve something. It's just a mindset thing. We all need help at times, so just ask for help.
Thank you for watching. I hope it helped. If it has, hit that like button for us, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on raising your consciousness and becoming the best version of you. And don't forget to ring the bell to make sure you get the first to see our new videos. Thank you.
See you next time.